Hello, everyone, and welcome to our monthly webinar. My name is Leslie Balser, and I'm a Customer Engagement Specialist here at Litera Microsystems. Today's topic is all about DocXtools style applications. We'll discuss the ease of styling with style applications, the expanded capabilities of DocXtools companion numbering, and helpful tips and tricks that you may have missed. Presenting on the topic today is Mike Plum, who's the Manager of Customer Engagement and Adoption. Mike has more than 15 years of experience in legal technology with a background in technical writing, training in project management, and has a strong understanding of the issues that can occur when creating complex documents in Microsoft Word. He also leads our customer enablement initiatives here at Litera Microsystems, including our webinars, training, recordings, as well as other adoption resources. We always love your feedback and welcome it in our various webinar topics. Let us know how we did and if you thought this was relevant. We'll provide a short survey at the end to get your thoughts. If you have any questions during the session, please enter them in your questions window and we'll answer as many as we can during our Q&A session at the end. If you missed a previous session, all of our past webinars are on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Litera Microsystems. And with that, I'll pass you over to Mike to begin the webinar.
All right, thank you very much, Leslie. So it feels good to be back in the chair again. Nick kept it warm for me last week. I hope he took care of everyone, but I'm back this week. And as Leslie talked about, or this month, as Leslie talked about, we're going to talk a little bit about styling your document, especially when you're in a time crunch, and when is it never not a time crunch. We're going to talk about from two aspects. I'm not going to go through necessarily every aspect of style application. Most of you have seen some of the other webinars where we have talked about that, but some people maybe aren't completely familiar with it, so we will go through it. So talk about how DocXtools can help with style application, and yes, even DocXtools Companion potentially can help with your styling. So yes, I did say that DocXtools Companion can help with your styling. So in my opinion, really one of the most powerful features in DocXtools, and one that really can save the most time, is definitely style application in DocXtools. For example, if you had over 100-page document, that could take potentially hours to style it manually through native Word, where you're going paragraph by paragraph and applying styles. But with DocXtools itself, with style application, those hours can turn to minutes. But what if your minutes are even precious? Why not lean on DocXtools Companion for some of the work in styling? Often we get requests that the document needs to be back, an hour ago, right? So I don't have any time to work on this. So anytime I can save clicks and save time, that's a good thing for me. So what can you do with style application, right? So it's definitely going to improve the quality of your document, the stability. We know that styling is important. It makes your document much more stable, much more efficient. If you're directly formatting your document throughout it, that's very taxing on the document in terms of size and working with the document and making updates. And we also know that your document actually is much smaller in size and easier to work with if you don't do direct formatting. So the power of DocXtools style application is it lets you take those like paragraphs and group them together. I call them buckets, right? We put them into these buckets, and then we can apply the style to the bucket, and every paragraph that has a similar look and feel will be styled at once versus going through those individual styles. Individual paragraphs do the styling. So via style application, it is a 5-step process. Those steps, though, again, are much faster than doing it through native Word. You always need to have a numbering scheme in your document because you're going to have numbered paragraphs throughout your legal documents. So a numbering scheme needs to be in the document so that when I apply heading 1 or whatever your heading levels are, there is an associated numbering scheme that you can apply as well. We're going to scan the document, and we're going to make sure that we have the right or the like paragraph groups together, be it type numbers of articles, be it different shapes of body text, be it bullets, be it titles, whatever. We're going to group those, and we have to scan the document to find them. There's always something called prepare to apply styles, which is, with DocXtools, we're always trying to clean up the document for you, do some of the dirty work to make whatever feature you're working with more manageable, and we do this with style application as well. For example, cleaning up empty paragraph marks, or swapping out a hard return after the word article with a soft return, anything that's going to make the experience of styling it better, we're going to try to do that for you with the prepare to apply styles piece before we actually start the styling. We're always going to want to go through a review process. I mean, DocXtools does the best it can based on the information it has to make these groups as efficient as possible, but there can be false positives in these groups. So you're going to want to review it, make sure that everything in the group is the same and should be styled the same, and there's navigation and things like that to help you with that. So a little bit of a review process. I always talk when I work with what I call the experts, and all of you are definitely experts on the phone, and when I do training in the classroom, that you're experts for a reason. Don't just blindly click a button. Go through and review these things. Some of these things take a little bit of human intervention to make sure that we're properly using the tool to its fullest capacity. And then finally, we're going to get to the point where we're actually going to apply the styles, right? We're going to choose the appropriate style, and then we're going to apply it. So that's really kind of that 5-step process for style application. It's going to work in a task pane. So as many of our features in DocXtools, it's task pane centric. Kind of, let's open up all the things here. So up top here, you're going to see that here's the active document. In this example, we scanned for type numbers. So we found all type numbers in the document. Typically, we've probably run a rebuild, which is one of the other features in DocXtools that strips the numbering from the document. Usually it's non-firm numbering or it's a converted document. So we want to get it back down to the bare bones of type numbers. So we scanned for type and we found, in this instance, 5 different types of type numbers. We found articles, we found sections, we found a little a in the whole, big A in the whole, etc. Right? And these are basically style filters, and those style filters are housed in these yellow folders down here. If you were ever curious what those were for, those are just tells us what to look for. So in this outline type yellow folder, there's rules in here to look for a lot of different type numbers. So we would, go through these. We could click on each one of these to navigate to the instance to see where it is in the document to make sure these are all the same. And then we could click on an article or on the top green globe and select the style from the bottom of the task pane, probably a heading 1 or something like that, and apply with one click styling to all those paragraphs. In this example, there's only 3, but if there was 103, it's still one click to apply them all. And we go down the list for each one of those. So we find sections, find the style, check the box, A in the whole, apply the style, check the box. We're going down heading 1, heading 2, and 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So much, much faster process than you would deal with if you were going paragraph by paragraph. Because literally here, there's 3, 4, that's 7, 20, or 32, 43, 49 paragraphs that we can apply styles to with just a half a dozen clicks, whereas if you were going manually, it might take you 30, 40, 50 plus clicks to go through and do these things. And then filter folders, we talked about a little bit here, so you can do some scanning and things like that from there. So let's jump into Word and take a look at style application from DocXtools. So here is a document that we use a lot in training. I'm on my WP Help Desk tab, so that's kind of the expert tab for DocXtools. I'm going to click on the eyeball, we call it the toggle view. It's going to flip you into draft view, just so you can see everything on the left here is normal. All my numbering is typed right now. More than likely, this was the results, as you can even see in the title, post rebuild, right? So we just rebuilt this document. So it is, everything's normal and everything's typed numbers. So on my WP Help Desk, I'm going to go to my Apply Styles dropdown, and I'm going to scan for type numbers. So it's going to leverage those folders. Here's my Prepare to Apply Styles. I can check some of these boxes if I want to. I'm just going to say OK now for make it a little quicker here. And then we're going to open up our task pane, and we can see some information here. So here we go. We see that it found 3 article paragraphs in the document, and I can expand that. I can navigate to each one of those instances in the document to see, are those truly all the same? Should they all have the same styling? So the answer here is yes. So whether my cursor is on an individual item in the list or on the actual filter itself, it doesn't matter. If I select the style from the drop down here, it's going to apply it to all of them in that list. So I could have had my cursor here, or I could have had it here, and it's going to apply it to all of them when I select from the bottom. If I right click on an individual item and I select a style, then it only applies to the one that's selected. But so it's more about where I do the styling from, right click, or here, as opposed to if it's going to select them all or not. Here's my sections. I have 6 instances here. Again, I can click inside and look at each one. No matter where my cursor is there, if I select the style from the bottom here, I'm going to do heading 2, and I check the box. There's all my heading 2 styles. And you can see I'm getting a visual indicator in the task pane that it's a level 1, level 2. I can also see in the document now that these are automated styles, and I see my heading 2 in the left navigation pane. And then finally, there's just the last one here. There's 24 instances of these, and I'm going to apply my heading 3. And I'm going to check the box. Okay, so with just a few clicks in this instance, 33 paragraphs were styled. Most legal documents have type numbering in the paragraph, so I've styled the majority of my document with several clicks. How many clicks did it take? Well, I had to click in here. One, I clicked the style, and then I checked the box. So for each one of these, it took 3 clicks, and there was 3 styles, so 9 clicks that I was able to style 33 paragraphs in that instance. Okay. Now, then I would continue on with the process if I needed to. Again, if I'm in a big hurry and I know that the lawyer needs this document right now, I might even stop there. I've just styled the majority of the document. He or she might just want to continue working in it where they can have the automated numbering continue to number for them. I could go on if I want, and I could scan for body though to see what body paragraphs there are in this document. There is some body instances in the document. I can go down to the styles. You'll notice that the styles are a little different here now. When I scanned for type numbers, all my heading styles showed up because it was showing me showing me paragraphs that had numbering associated with it. Now that I scanned for non-number styles, it's showing me non-number paragraphs. One thing I forgot to mention, and we said step 1 of the styling process was to bring a numbering scheme into the document. This document already had a numbering scheme in it. So if you were using a third-party numbering scheme, you would have went and brought in your article scheme or whatever the case may be before we styled. So here I'm going to select body text, and I'll check the box to style those. I can even do it from here. So I don't think there's any single list, but I can right click on bullets here and scan the entire document and do it that way because I think there's some bullets in here. So I do have some bullets. I don't think I have a bullet style, so I'm just going to apply heading 4, which is the next level, just so it's taken care of. And then the last thing we would do from a style application point of view is scan for normal. Normal is kind of that final check, right? It's all the other filters are looking for attributes of the paragraph. The type numbers one is looking for type numbers. Styled numbers is going to look for numbers that are styled. We skipped that one because that would have just found all the type numbers that we styled. Titles is going to look for words, I think it's sentences of less than 6 words and it's centered. Body's looking for certain of indents, etc., etc. Normal just looks to see, are there any paragraphs left that have the normal style associated with it? So some firms are very strict. They don't want to have normal in any of their documents. Others are fine with it. So there's a few other strays here. That's a potential title. So again, I don't want to make all of these title, only this one's a title. So in this instance, I'm going to right click on standard agreement here and find my title style and select it. So only that item was styled. The rest of them weren't because I did the right click style, and you can see there's a paragraph mark. Here's a numbering scheme that got kind of lost. I think it's because there's the typo in there. There's a space between the I and the N. So I'm just going to right click and make this heading 3 to match the other ones. Here's a couple things that look like could be body text. So I can control click and shift click on these as well to select multiples. And if I right click, I'll just make that body text so there's something there. And I'm going to control click and shift click on those two. And let's make them our signature style. Okay, so now the entire document is styled. Short document, but pretty quick, right? And I'm taking some time explaining this. So that's kind of style application and what it would do for you. But let's say that even minutes are precious to me. I don't have the luxury. I have someone breathing down my back. I need to get this done as fast as possible. So I'm gonna close this document and I'm not gonna save it because I want to get it back to where it was before, where it was not styled. Okay. Just gonna open it back up just to show we're not doing any magic here. We'll go to the eyeball. You can see here's our document again with normal and type numbers. Okay. So let's go back to the PowerPoint for 1 second. So we talked about this 5-step process, and especially for type numbers, which was the one we kind of spent the most time on. We would bring the numbering scheme in, we would scan the document, we would prepare to apply styles, we would review, and then we do the choose the appropriate style to go through. But what if I didn't have the time? And I didn't have time to import. I didn't have the time to scan and prepare. And I didn't have the time to review. And I didn't have the time to apply. Why not just use numbers from DocXtools Companion to do your styling for all your top type numbers in your document? So what does the numbers feature do? I mean, it applies a healthy numbering scheme to your document. And what is the definition of a healthy numbering scheme? Well, you have the scheme itself, which are the 9 levels, but the other key component is it has the associated style for each level. So not only when you run numbers is it fixing broken numbering, it's styling those numbered paragraphs for you. So when I click numbers, I'm styling all of my paragraph numbers with one click. And if time is of the essence, those clicks are gonna really matter. So let's go back to that document. I said, and I did it purposely, and if everyone was listening, when I did scanning for type numbers, I had to scan, right? I had to go through the prepare to apply style, so that was 2 clicks. And then there was 9 additional clicks that I had to go through in style application to do the article, the section, etc. But why not just go to numbers and click on numbers in DocXtools Companion and let that go through all of my numbering in the document with 1 click and apply it for me, saving myself 10, 15 clicks. Now, I'm not saying this replaces style application, but in a pinch, if I need to get this done and style quickly and get it back, look at all of my numbered paragraphs that we went through before are now styled with the headings and heading 2s and heading 3s, etc. Again, if this needed to go out quickly, I might even say I'm done here and send it right back to the lawyer because now 90% of this document is styled. If I still needed to do the other pieces, I could jump back into style application and just start with titles or body. I can skip type numbers because that took care of one of the key features of styling just by doing that piece. Every time I work with a customer, I talk about DocXtools Companion and its power. And I'm surprised so often when people say that either we only gave it to our end users or worse yet, we didn't deploy it. It comes with DocXtools and it's free. And it's no longer just for lawyers anymore, right? There was a commercial, I think, that said something to that effect. It's no longer for lawyers anymore. Experts should have DocXtools Companion on their ribbon as well with DocXtools so that in a pinch you can use these tools to go back and forth and kind of weave in between the two to be as most efficient as possible. And with that, I'm going to see if we have any questions because that's really all I want to talk about just to show the power of that. While we're looking at the questions, I'm going to jump back to our PowerPoint. So our next webinar is a TBD at this point because I'm not sure what we're going to do. So if you have ideas on the survey at the end, the response, let us know what you want to hear about. We've had great attendance for the last 2 on cross-referencing with DocXtools and DocXtools Companion and styling with DocXtools and DocXtools Companion. So it seems like that's a popular topic, but if there's other things you want to hear about, please let us know. I'm going to stop for a second, pause, talk to Leslie, see if there's a few questions, and I'll be back in a heartbeat. All right, I'm back real quick. A couple questions came in. One was, these are more on the style application side of things, but one was, what determines whether we should select a particular cleanup option or not prior to scanning? So I think that's related to the prepare to apply styles. And that's actually a really good question. And it goes back to what I talked about before, that all of you are experts. Don't blindly check the boxes for those things. But basically, those are rules that are set up behind the scene by us to help you with what you're scanning for. But there's definitely instances where you can actually hurt yourself by scanning. One instance is, let me see if I can jump back real fast here. So one instance when we do prepare to apply styles is if we scan for single lists after you've already done type numbers. One of the options in there is, do you want to convert all your outline numbering to text? That's a bad thing if you've already scanned for type numbers, because what that's going to do is going to take all of your styled numbers and convert them back to text before it starts looking for single lists. So each one has different items in it. Sometimes it finds things, sometimes it doesn't. But that's that one. The other question was more around the hidden folders and the yellow folders and their purpose, and whether they should, what they're used for. So I've kind of come full circle regarding these. When I was a consultant building out configurations for people, I tended to hide them. But now, especially doing more trainings in person with people, I've found that these can be very valuable. The one area where it's extremely valuable is we had a client that had two numbering schemes in the document that looked exactly the same. So when we scanned for type numbers, it would find all of them, but they wanted to apply literally two different numbering schemes to each one. One was part of a schedule at the end of the document. So I showed them that you can scan a selection as well. So in that instance, they were able to highlight the schedule section at the end and scan by selection and apply the one numbering scheme they needed, and then they could scan the other section and apply the other. So that's where it starts to come in for some benefits. But there are many configurations out there, and you can blame me because I probably did it, where I hid the folder. But if you ever need a scan by selection, it's a configuration change. It's super quick, and we could quickly change it for you. Alrighty, Leslie's saying that it looks like there's no more questions, so I'm going to leave it with that, give you a few minutes back. Hopefully this was mildly entertaining and somewhat informational. Please let us know if there's what other topics you'd like to hear from, and have a great long weekend if you're living in the US. Take care. Bye-bye.